Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Crypto Library, where you can find archives on all things crypto and blockchain related. Today, we'll be discussing Cardano. Particularly, what is Cardano? What makes it unique? Where is the project headed? And what is a projected price 10 to 15 years down the road? So, to get things started, let's talk about where did Cardano come from? ADA was founded by Charles Hoskinson, one of the co founders of Ethereum, back in 2015. He founded ADA with the vision of solving the blockchain trilemma. And those of you who don't know what this is, the blockchain trilemma refers to the widely held belief that decentralized networks can only provide two of the three following benefits at any given time: decentralization, security, and scalability. He believed that one of the three should not have to be compromised, and with that, ADA was born. So, to get started, let's take a look at what exactly is ADA and how does it work. So, Cardano works on a proof of stake blockchain consensus. So, for those of you that don't know, there's proof of stake and then there's proof of work. So, in a proof of work consensus, there are miners, and in a proof of stake consensus, you have validators. And the real difference is that in order to become a validator, you need to be personally staked in the coin. So this ensures that validators are not messing much with the ecosystem and only doing things in favor of the blockchain and in favor of the coin. And this is done through them being personally invested with their own funds in the blockchain. And in order to become a validator, you need to have a very large sum of the coin, whether it be Cardano or if you want to be a validator of any proof of chain blockchain, it's the same thing. You have to have a very large stake in the blockchain, and the particular amount would vary from blockchain to blockchain. So, in a proof of work environment, the penalty for miners submitting invalid information or blocks is that there's a sunk cost of computing power, energy, and time. And whereas in a proof of stake, the validators stake cryptocurrency, and their incentive is to act in the network's best interest because their own economics are on the line. So let's take a look at the Cardano price. So ADA over the past 3 months has peaked at 270, and in the past year, I believe it has peaked at almost $3 USD. And currently it's sitting at 135 USD, and this is after the big bear market which just occurred in the past week, where we experienced a heavy price dip, as you can see right over here. It was quite a hefty price dip. Most altcoins, most cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, saw this crash. So if you are looking into getting into the cryptocurrency market, I would say that now is as good a time as any, as no coin is sitting anywhere close to the all-time high, including ADA. So what exactly is ADA? We've discussed that. Where can you hold ADA? ADA can be stored in either centralized wallets such as Kraken, crypto.com, Coinbase, or they can be held in ADA specific wallets where they can also be staked, such as Daedalus or Uriel. So now that we've kind of talked about what is ADA, we can take a look at the quick timeline or the history of Cardano. So the history of Cardano can kind of be summed up into these 5 different stages. You guys can see the names in the different colors above, but pretty much the 5 stages are summed up into the foundation, the decentralization, smart contracts, scaling, and governance. So in order to really take a look, we're going to hop on to the Cardano roadmap, and here we can see that the first stage's name is the Bayern stage. So during the Bayern stage, before we get into that, we can just tackle this right here. So Cardano is a third generation blockchain. For any of you who don't know, Bitcoin would be the first generation blockchain, and then Ethereum being the second, and then Cardano, XRP, Solana would be considered the third generation of blockchains coming after the two. So with that, Cardano was created as a blockchain network facing the problem of scalability, interoperability, and sustainability. So it came out in 2015, but was not really shipped or put out into the market until 2017 when the bear stage was in effect. And at this point, you could hold. It was the bare minimum with Cardano. You could kind of just buy and sell the cryptocurrency and trade it, which could be done in the Daedalus wallet or the Yorio wallet. And these two, till this date, 5 or 6 years after the cryptocurrency has come out, are still some of the main wallets which hold to hold Cardano in. And you can also stake your ADA in these wallets for up to 12%. You can also stake your ADA in decentralized wallets such as Coinbase and Kraken for as low as 4 to 6%. But in Daedalus, you can definitely stake it for higher. And I guess that's one of the perks of staking it in a more decentralized place or a Cardano specific wallet. So that is the Baron stage. So that's just the foundation of ADA, where the cryptocurrency is released and you can do the bare minimum. The second stage, the Shelley stage, focuses on decentralization. So here we attack one of the key pillars of the blockchain trilemma. So the Shelley stage of Cardano is a period of growth and development for the network. Unlike the Bayern stage, which began at a single point in time when the mainnet was launched, the transition of the Shelley stage is designed to achieve a smooth, low-risk transaction without service interruptions. So everything that is being done on the first stage is still operating, and the Shelley stage is being incorporated while the foundations have already been laid, and just decentralizing the blockchain even further. So here we can see that Cardano is expected to be 50 to 100 times more decentralized than other large blockchain networks. So there they tackle the first pillar of the blockchain trilemma, decentralization, and they are ensuring that it is kept at the top of their list, and while being the second thing attacked on the roadmap. So here we can see that incentive schemes designed to reach equilibrium around 1,000 stake pools. So one of the perks to having like a larger number of staking pools as opposed to the different blockchains with smaller ones such as Polkadot would be that when you have a smaller or a finite number of staking pools, and there's only a finite or such a low number of validators. So Polkadot, for specific, has around 150 to 200 staking pools, in which there would be 200 to whatever validators. So say there can only be 36 people per staking pool, right? The number of people who can stake in those pools is cut drastically compared to something such as Cardano, which has more staking pools, and the risk per pool is also increased because now it's more likely that a pool can get slashed and that more people would be affected per pool. So with more pools, you kind of diversify the risk, and each member in the pool has a lower risk tolerance or a lower risk level. That's whatever you'd like to say. And then moving on to the third stage of the roadmap, we have the implementation of smart contracts. Now, this happened not too long ago, back in September. So as you can see, early September right here, they implemented Cardano smart contracts, and we can see a sharp increase in the price of ADA. And so with this, we can see ADA being more of a competitor of Ethereum, one of the other blockchains which has already implemented smart contracts. And with the implementation of smart contracts, Cardano also becomes more marketable towards the more decentralized applications. Now it's more likely that decentralized applications will come and run on Cardano, thus growing the ecosystem even further, bringing more traction towards it, and it's a win-win situation. And yeah, so as we can see, not many blockchains in this crypto space offer smart contracts, and it is one of the fastest way to trade crypto and have it validated and have records of it. Smart contracts are definitely the way of the future. So the fact that Cardano is offering them at such an early rate and the transaction speeds, it's definitely a couple of steps ahead of its competitors. And with that, we can move on to the fourth step of the roadmap, which is the Basho step, also known as scaling. So at this point, Cardano is in a new era of optimization, improving its scalability and interoperability of the network. Whereas previous development eras focused on decentralization and new functionality, Basho is about improving the underlying performance of the Cardano network to better support growth and adoption of applications with high transaction volume. So at this point, Cardano is thriving. People are. This is kind of the point that Cardano would be at right now, right? It's one of the largest cryptocurrencies by market cap. It has a very strong support system. It's grown a lot, and all that's left now is increasing the number of transactions, increasing the adoption of applications that are already existing on the space, and also making room for new decentralized applications to join the space and further increasing the blockchain and bringing more volume and more transactions to the blockchain. So here we can see that one of the core developments of Basho will be the introduction of sidechains, new blockchains interoperable to the main Cardano chain, with immense potential to extend the capabilities of the network. Sidechains can be used as a sharding mechanism by offloading work from the main chain onto the sidechain to increase the capacity of the network. So this is kind of where Cardano is now and kind of where it's heading as well. And with that, we know that all that's left now is to scale on a larger level and just become a larger cryptocurrency in general. And then the last step is obviously governance, and this is kind of already been implemented with stakeholders being able to vote in certain aspects of the ecosystem. But this is definitely in the future. This will be exactly how the entire cryptocurrency is governed, and this is the true meaning of decentralization, when the cryptocurrency is run by the people and it is for the people, and it's in the hands of the people, and that's what real decentralization means. And Cardano, that's what they're really aiming towards. There won't be one single governing body. Everybody who is a part of the system and truly believes in the future of the system and is leveraging their finances by being a stakeholder has a say in where the project is going and what will happen with the project. And this is really exciting because not many cryptocurrencies in the space are doing it on the level that Cardano is doing it on, and as well as with the efficiency and effectiveness. So this is also what makes the project more unique than the other projects, and it's also the belief of the team that this is why Cardano will be here long after they're gone. That they built a system that does not rely on anyone. It is a system that is self-sufficient, a system that will continue to stand the test of time. So now that we've kind of talked about Cardano, it's difficult to not mention the transaction speeds of the various cryptocurrencies that are in the market as of now. So currently, Bitcoin is standing at roughly 5 transactions per second, Ethereum at 15 to 40 transactions per second. We'll likely see a great increase in this number when Ethereum 2.0 comes out, because there will be new scaling solutions, and they will be shifting to a proof of stake consensus as well. So this will likely jump to at least 1,000 to 2,000 transactions per second. Polkadot, a project that I am personally very bullish on and will probably be making a video about in the foreseeable future, has a transaction speed of 150 transactions per second. ADA currently has a transaction speed of 250 to 1,000 transactions per second. I threw Visa here as a benchmark. They have a transaction speed of 2,000 transactions per second. And then Solano, standing at the top, has roughly 50,000 transactions per second. So it's like I was mentioning here, Ethereum and Ethereum 2.0. So Ethereum 2.0 would be a scalability solution. ADA, this 250 to 1,000 transactions per second would only be for their layer 1. As you may know, there has been a layer 2 scaling solution for Cardano as well, and it is known as Hydra. So Hydra, as I just mentioned, would be the layer 2 solution, which would go on top of the existing proof of stake protocol that Cardano already has. So at this point, you guys might be wondering, what are these various layers and why are they required? So in order to properly explain this, you can think of the first layer as always being limited in terms of the number of transactions processed in any given period of time. If decentralization is not sacrificed, through output will never be sufficient to allow a large number of people to use a consensually distributed network. The solution is to create a second layer, which is above the first layer. The first layer is what is called the blockchain. It is the most secure and decentralized network with lower through output. Above this first layer it is possible to create a quasi-independent network, also known as the second layer. The second layer is built to scale as high as possible and make transactions faster and cheaper. So in this case, Hydra would be the second layer solution to Cardano's existing first layer where proof of stake is used. So it's important to note that this layer 2 solution doesn't just annihilate or take over and is now the existing solution. It is running parallel to the already layer 1 solution, and all of the mechanics and all of the things that are in place for the layer 1 solution are still ongoing and still there. And layer 2 is really just in addition to the first layer, and that's kind of what the Hydra is, right? It's a mythical beast that is it is one, it is kind of one entity, but each head operates on its own, right? So a layer 2 solution, it's part of the main thing, but it's kind of on its own, you know? They're running parallel to each other. So that's kind of why they chose to call it Hydra. So going deeper into it, Hydra is designed in a way that fits well with stake pool model. Every pool can create a new Hydra head, so adding more pools means that more heads can be added. So by adding new heads to the protocol, nearly linear scaling can be achieved. Simulations have been run and they've been fantastic. Each Hydra head has been able to process up to 1,000 transactions per second, and there is room for even further optimization. So theoretically speaking, with 1,000 pools, Cardano could scale up to 1 million transactions per second, and the finality of these transactions would be very quick. Because Hydra enables horizontal scaling, it means that increasing performance by incorporating additional nodes is possible. Hydra will ensure low latency and minimal storage of data per node. And it's also able to execute smart contracts by developers and can easily build decentralized applications and utilizing micropayments, voting, and other things. So here comes what I was saying, that all the things which were able to be done on the first layer, such as building of decentralized applications, utilizing micropayments, and voting, are still able to be done because the layer 1 solution where proof of stake is used is still there. The layer 2 is just an addition and is running parallel to that layer 1. And it's also worth noting the transactions that are done on the layer 1 are considered on-chain, and then transactions which would be processed on layer 2 would be considered off-chain solutions. So here you can kind of see that each head processes 1,000 transactions per second, 1,000 transactions per second, 1,000 transactions per second, and they're working on their own. But at the end of the day, they are all joint and they are all communicating. So there is no miscommunication. They are all still one entity, kind of operating on their own. So on this, we can kind of talk about what Charles Hoskinson has to say on Hydra and this protocol. So, starting quotations, the more heads you add, the more power you get. So if you look at the dynamics of the system in this way, we're on a Visa scale in the basic ledger. And off of comparability in speed, we're on the level of our competitor Ripple, or XRP. And at the head level, we can scale to a global system that is very natural and easy to shade. These heads can also be used for interoperability with other networks such as Bitcoin and Lightning Network. Cardano will be the fastest system in the world. End quote. So Charles Hoskinson firmly believes that Hydra is definitely the solution and was definitely needed in order to take Cardano to that next level and continue to tackle that issue of the blockchain trilemma and scalability and decentralization. as Hydra now makes Cardano that much more scalable. And it's worth noting that, as we can see here, that Cardano currently only has a through output of 250 transactions per second. So some people might be asking, if it can process 1 million transactions per second, why wouldn't it? And that's simply because there is just not that much demand. The project, although it is one of the biggest by market cap, there just isn't that much demand on the project and on the blockchain that it would require 1 million transactions per second. So just because they can do it doesn't mean they need to do it. That's kind of the situation. That so it's kind of the so it's nice to know that in the future, that when the time does come, the hard the software is not lacking. That is not the issue. So that's kind of where ADA stands as of right now. So with that, all that's left is to talk about the 2030 price prediction. What could ADA be worth in the future? So with everything that has been said about ADA, it's worthwhile to note that it has a very strong core. The founder is one of the co-founders of Ethereum, and that says a lot because Ethereum will is the second largest blockchain by market cap. So, and probably one of the most well-known coins in the world, and will have one of the largest impacts. And this guy started ADA with a vision and is tackling, and it's not out of the blue to say that ADA is one of Ethereum's largest competitors and could potentially even be the Ethereum killer in the future. So ADA has a total circulating supply of 33,700,000,000. So in that aspect, it's different from Ethereum as it does have a limited supply. So it kind of comes from that. It can take from Bitcoin. So the potential of the price per ADA to rise is definitely there once the crypto market takes off. And guys, it's worthwhile to note that the whole market is very new. It's less than a decade old. ADA itself is less than half a decade old, or a bit over half a decade old. So we're really new into the space. So take this with a grain of salt. I'm not a financial advisor. This is all just off of speculation, but it's not out of the blue to say that ADA in the next 10 to 15 years could be worth 50 to 75 per ADA, even 100 if the applications on the blockchain really take off. And that is coming from the fact that ADA it has one of the best principles on the blockchain. It is focused on decentralization, focused on security, focused on sustainability, and that's what matters. Along with the fact that they know that the future lies in the hands of the community. And with a strong community and building a community with validators instead of proof of work, you have proof of stake. That is what blockchain and that is what cryptocurrency is all about. Building a decentralized community for the people, by the people. And this is the future. Coins like ADA, these will change the world. So it's not out of the blue to think that this coin could 10x, 50x in the next 10 to 15 years. And with that, guys, if you learned anything, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment if you have any advice on